Hello and welcome to the Knit Girls. This is why are you laughing at me?
I don't know.
You've got a green thread on your boob.
Is that what I was like? Because I was looking on there and it was over there. Yeah. Sorry.
Let's try that again. Hello and welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 388. Now I've lost my groove.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
And easily sidetracked.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I'm Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. Today is Monday. No, Tuesday.
No, it's Tuesday the
Tax
18th.
Day in
Yeah.
the United States.
And I made the mistake of having to go to the post office to get stamps because I had to mail out my
no.
my trash. So I am not on the city water, but I do get the city trash, and it is a whopping $12 a month. And so usually I pay like $24 at a time, and so this was one of the months that I had to do that, but I was out of stamps. But if you pay it online, they assess like a $3 fee, so it's like
they do that with
like
my
a quarter,
mortgage as well, and I'm like, whatever, you can have that $3.
Oh, no, I run it by the bank because my bank is my mortgage holder.
Oh, mine's not. Yeah.
So I just run it by.
My mortgage has been sold like 6 times since I've had it, and now it's at Quicken, and it's been there for a while.
Oh.
So
The more you know.
yeah. So for those of you who have tried to access our website in the past 2 weeks, sorry. I made the attempt to switch from an old host that did not have the space that I needed to GoDaddy, which was not a great experience. But I didn't realize that until after I'd moved everything over.
Yeah.
And
they were continuously down for 3 weeks.
yeah, it wasn't great. And a lot of the problem was because when you're moving websites, like your name servers and DNS have to repopulate throughout the web, which can take 1 to 3 days. You just have to wait. So a lot of that was spent waiting. Anyway, we're now on a company called Surpass Hosting, which gives excellent chat customer service if you're looking for a host for your website. I recommend them. I do not get any commissions or anything, but...
And thank you for Patreon people for helping us be able to
upgrade our
service
and move it over.
Because we had filled up the other
our quota, yeah. When I bought the hosting originally when we were baby podcasters.
Babies.
Actually, this was before the podcast even. This was when we just bought the site.
Yeah, when we were bloggers.
So that was like 10 years ago almost.
Wow.
So,
God, I've known you 10 years.
Yeah.
I've known you longer than 10 years.
Yeah.
This was our 10-year anniversary at Flyaway for Stacy and Sarah and Jessica.
So it's been about 11 since we've known each other.
Yeah.
Because we knew each other before that.
Just a little bit, though. We'll have to do like a 15-year anniversary.
A ridiculous
ridiculous
video of us running through the flowers and then like doing a montage of different outfits.
Going on like all these.
Okay, A, that would be hilarious.
I think we need to do it.
But B, God, what a pain in the butt that would be to set up.
Oh my.
This is actually a knitting podcast.
Sometimes.
So, would you like to go or would you like me to?
Well, you go first.
Sure.
We're both knitting on the same thing, I think. So. Well,
sort of.
The same type of thing?
Yes.
Okay.
The same article of clothing.
There you go.
So, I am knitting on parallel module socks. I'm knitting these out of Perfect Day. No, not Perfect Day.
Aww.
I wish it was Perfect Day. Well, I mean, this is still wonderful. Mustache yarn in her Perfect Sock, I think is what it's called. But it's
OCD skein.
OCD skein, so they were perfectly matched, which completely doesn't matter in these socks anyway. Because I pulled from the opposite end to start this pair, because it doesn't matter for these socks. They're not going to match perfectly anyway. So this is Kama Sutra. That's a colorway name. It's got 20 stripes.
Yeah, or 22, something crazy like that.
I just started the cuff, so it's just like 5 rows in. But I finished sock number 1. Put it somewhere. Here we go. So this is parallel module, and they're entrelac socks. In the pattern, as written, you continue the pattern down the foot, but I didn't want to do that, so I didn't do that. So
I think that would be awkward. We've already discussed this on other podcasts, but I feel like having all that fabric
texture
would be awkward.
Yeah, because entrelac is from the inside, it's very textured. You've got, all these areas where you've picked up stitches, so you would feel it. If you weren't wearing tight shoes, it'd probably be fine. It would just be irritating.
Who doesn't wear tight shoes, though? I
don't know.
Aren't shoes made to be quasi-tight? Even clogs, they would rub against the top.
So my shoes are usually tight, but I also have big fat sausage feet, so there's that. So anyway, sock number 1 is finished.
This is like the oversharing our
seriously. That'll be the title. So that's sock number 1.
You say that, but we'll come up with something better.
Probably, and I'll have forgotten anyway. And I'll be editing this and be like, what was that title again? Well, I could rewatch the podcast. I'm not going to do that. The fact that this goes up every week is only because I do not rewatch it. The other thing that I'm knitting on is Cypress by Jared Flood.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I thought you were going to block that.
Well, what I ended up doing, so last week or the week before when we were driving to Pliaway, I did the neckband and the armband on this. And then when I got back, I tried it on, and they were all too tight. But this was actually written for a worsted weight, and I knit it in a bulky weight. Or Aran weight, sorry.
Yeah.
Which is one thicker.
Yeah, but there's
it's not a huge difference.
There's worsted that's more like a DK,
right,
and there's worsted that's more like an Aran, so...
But the issue, Jared Flood is brilliant, but also a little bit kooky, and this pattern called for 5 different needle sizes.
Oh.
And most of that was because, and I'm not exaggerating here, you pick up with, let's say, needle size A, you knit 3/4 of an inch, and then you use needle size B, and then you knit 1/4 of an inch.
I wonder why that is.
And then you get needle size C, and then you knit 1/4 of an inch, and you bind off with needle size D. To progressively make the ribbing a little, pull in a little bit, maybe? I don't know. But it also had you picking up 2 stitches for every 3 rows, along the collar, which is pretty standard.
Yeah.
But because I went up a size in the gauge of the yarn, I wasn't picking up enough.
Yeah, less stitches.
So it was too tight. It was too closed in. So I ripped everything out. Well, I ripped out the cuff and the bands, and I fixed it. So now it's the neckband I fixed. So I have to tack this down, but otherwise it's perfectly fine. I tried it on, and it looks fine. But I've got to do the arms as well, and I just haven't had time this week because I've been spinning.
Yay!
But hopefully this should be done next week. It really will take me about 2 hours worth of work to do the arms and weave in ends.
You could do that in a night tomorrow.
I could. That would be pretty motivating.
You could spin on my wheel when you come over again.
I could. I might do this because I've spun a pound in the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks,
3 weeks,
like that.
Yeah, I would say a month.
Let me have my glory because it'll never happen again.
No, I think you should bring over some fiber, and then you can always spin when you're over at my house when we're watching Drag Race or our new obsession, which is Wild
Country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
About the town of Rajneeshpuram in Oregon. We're only halfway through the series, so don't spoil it for us.
It's a documentary, and it is fascinating how this religion kind of took over this town
in the 80s.
Yeah, in 81.
So
right when we were both born.
I was a year old already.
You are a year older than me.
So that's my knitting. I do not have any finished objects because, like I said, I've just been spinning this week. So,
well, by Leslie talking, I got 6 rows into my sock. Roundabout.
Ooh,
I know. We're sock twins. I am knitting.
Oh, speaking of, Laura and I both kind of want to knit a Casapinka shawl called Goldfish Memory.
Yes, I already pulled out the yarn
I
for
will
it.
not knit it while she knits it, because
Why?
even if it's not a competition, it's a competition.
It is a competition. Why won't you knit it at the same time as me? Because
I have learned this lesson.
Because then we can't compete if you're not knitting it at the same time as me, and I'll have to convince, like, Jessica to knit it so we can compete.
And that's why I won't knit it.
Also, it'd be kind of boring if we were both working on the same thing.
Yeah.
As we both show pairs of socks. I am knitting on some String Theory Colorworks. It's really pretty.
Yeah.
It's like purples and blues.
It's almost Halloween-y colors, but the blues really pull it out of that.
Yeah, purple, blue, green,
Black.
and black. It's got that teal in it.
Mm-hmm.
And if I could find the tag,
It's
which
like
is
a
in the bottom of this
quasar or
bag.
something, right?
It is.
All her stuff is named after space or
science. It is dopamine. I feel like.
Oh, but it's a
that's-
continuum base.
Yeah, it's continuum base, but it's dopamine's the colorway. So it is, her continuum base is 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon. I got this from the Loopy U because they stock her stuff, but she's also got a wonderful site, and I met her at Florida, the Magical Disney Retreat,
Cool.
and she is super sweet. So, we do a very extremely informal knit along for self-striping yarns in our group, and we pick out like 6 dyers every month. We need to update for the rest of the year, but if you knit with one of those dyers, you can be entered for prizes. This month's prize is a pattern, up to $7, I think, of your choice.
Yeah, so it's nothing. It's no
or
big
$9 of your choice. I try to up it because the US dollar is not as strong against the euro as it used to. So I've been noticing, like, I go to buy a shawl pattern and it's like $8 if it's from Europe. So just keeping that in mind. So, yeah, it's really, really pretty. And I am a whole whopping 6 rows into it. I'm going to knit these top down with a heel flap. I might do a pattern, I might not. I cast on 56 stitches on a size 0. They are for Marigold Jen. She wears a size 8, I believe. 8 or 8.5. I have to look at my notes. But she's got teeny tiny feet, so it should go, hopefully, fairly quickly. And I'm using, what are these, Chagu?
Chagu, yep.
Yep, the interchangeables. So they're mini interchangeable set on the size 0s, and I like them. And I pulled out an old bag out of my bag stash. This is zigzag stitches. So I love this bag.
Mine is the Firefly bag from Fat Squirrel.
Aw.
That I got maybe 2 SSKs ago.
Okay. So this was what I have, how I store my bags in my room. Leslie's laughing.
I'm laughing because she will never let me show you guys.
No, because it's a hot mess. But because there's too many bags.
I was going to say, it's not that it's a mess, because it's really not. You're actually pretty well organized there. There's just an abundance.
I have these, I guess they're like curtain rods from
The like mug racks.
Yeah, from IKEA.
Mm-hmm.
Leslie's got some over here that I'm looking at. And you can get hooks for them, or baskets that go over them, or little plastic containers, or little metal bins. I have a whole bunch of the hooks, and Amazon sells extra hooks, like just random hooks, very, very cheap. And so I just have all my bags hanging on those hooks, and I've run out of space. So I have a winding station that my Swift is on, and it is also from IKEA. And it's like a hanging clothes store. This is a terrible way of... It's basically a table that's about, like, this high on me. Or, like, boob height on me. So maybe 4 foot tall. And it's where my Swift is. I'm pointing to Leslie's Swift like y'all can see it. And underneath, it's meant for, like, storing hanging clothes, I guess. Like, if you don't have enough closet space, you can add this. And
there's
got
rods.
Yeah, there's, like, one rod that goes underneath. And Mom thought she was buying the basket one, and then she bought the rod one, and that's how I ended up with it. But I also have hooks underneath there, and that's where some other bags are hanging as well.
You know how, like, each group of animals has its own name, like a murder of crows?
Yeah.
Or, God, what the flamingo one is really funny, but I can't remember what it is now.
Isn't it like a... What is the cat one? The cat one's funny, too.
Mischief of cats.
Yeah, something like that.
I wonder what a group of bags would be called.
Knitting bags especially.
Yeah. Somebody should come up. If you come up with something hilarious, I will gift you a pattern.
There you go. So that is the first thing on my needles, is this pair of socks. And I might do a pattern because it's over 56 stitches. I might just do plain stockinette. I haven't decided
You could do
yet.
like something simple like Hermione's or...
Yeah, it's self-striping, so we'll see. I could do socks on a plain, but from the top down.
Yeah.
Something like that. Anyway, things to think about, because ribbing on most patterns, top-down patterns, is pretty much the same for 56. I can make something work. I have stitch dictionaries and the ability to do that.
You do.
So, anyway, so that's the main thing that I just cast on 10 minutes ago on my needles. The other thing that I'm working on is lace, so it takes a little bit more brain power. And so I started it last week, and then I ran out of brain power. So this is the Jord Vest. And it's 2 repeats in. Yeah, there we go. And I'm knitting this out of Brooklyn Tweed Quarry. And I do 4 repeats for my size. Yeah, it's unblocked.
No, I was just feeling it. Feels nice.
I like it a lot. His yarn is Columbia, I believe. Like a Columbia Targhee blend.
Yeah, I think that you're right.
And it's very loosely 2-plied. I did have a knot right there.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll be okay. I don't mind 1 knot. I mind more than 1 knot, just because it gets irritating.
But because
especially
this is
weaving in ends on a lace.
a non-superwash wool, you could spit splice it.
I could.
Some people don't like the idea of doing that, and that's totally fine. But it would save you weaving in an end.
It would. I just have trust issues with split splicing. I have trust issues in general.
Well, I think
while we're oversharing today,
most woolen spun yarns are sort of held together with hope and air. So
and dreams.
Yeah.
So I'm 2 repeats in. I have to do 2 more to get, like, this is the front panel.
Yeah.
And then I put some stitches on holders, do some armholes, and then
it's essentially
it's like an afterthought heel, basically.
Yeah, a big rectangle with 2 afterthought holes for arms.
So that is probably like 50 yards of knitting, and that's about it on that. And I'm using size 11 needles. I'm using whatever we are calling these needles. I like to call them Lykkes, but that is not their actual name.
Lykke.
Yeah. So, how did other people say it?
I don't know. There's a million, I feel like there's a million different ways. And if you're at home and you're thinking, how hard would it be to, like, look up pronunciation before you start? Dude, we would never record.
Especially, and then I would mispronounce it anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
It's, you either have to accept it as part of our charm, or go find a podcast where that is their job, and they take it way more seriously than we do.
Knitting Pipeline, though, knows how to pronounce it correctly. Paula's amazing.
There are some words I can pronounce well, but apparently that's not one of them.
Ysolda is one that I can pronounce really, really well. And Malabrigo.
Yeah.
And, we've had so many comedy of errors over the years. Anyway, I am like 2 repeats in, and that's all I have to say about this. I'm enjoying the process. I'm enjoying the yarn. I did not have stitch markers big enough, so I have a giant jump ring on it.
Oh, that'll work.
Yeah. Anyway, and that's living in a bag. An Erin Lane bag.
Oh.
Isn't that nice?
That was from your club you won.
Yeah,
right?
I won that club at DFW 2 years ago. Boom. And I used the snot out of this bag, too.
Yeah.
I've not knit with a single skein of yarn that I got in that club. Not because they're not good yarns, because they were very nice yarns, like Mustache and Buffalo. There's a Buffalo blend and a bunch of really nice yarns, but they're just hanging out in the stash. I need to knit for my... Hey, guess what? Stash Dash is coming up. Stash Dash starts, what is it, May 25th? Where's my phone?
Yeah, it's like the last week in May. Stash Dash, for those of you who are new to the podcast, is our annual summer sort of...
I'm going to look up the date for y'all.
Effort to knit up our works in progress.
And stash.
To try to... It's over 3 months, and so basically the goal is just to try to knit to whatever your own goal is, whether it's 1,000 yards, 5,000 yards,
20,000 yards,
crazy people's yardage. And we draw prizes for each tier, but really, if you're doing it, you got to be doing it for you, because you might get a prize, but
like the prizes are wonderful, and usually they're donated by some wonderful people,
right?
But you got to.
You're not going to get money on your return for that. It's got to be something you want to do for you.
So Stash Dash starts May 25th. I haven't set an end date yet. Let's set that right now. So let's.
What I like to do is just not plan anything and just do it live. Do it live.
I'm trying to. My phone just makes. Oh, let's do it. You know what? We're gonna make the end date August 27th because that's Pearl's adoption day.
Oh.
So we're gonna make that the end of Stash Dash too.
That's sweet.
That's way later than what it usually is.
That's 3 full months. Yeah.
Yeah. Usually, when I first started it was when I went back to school, which this year would be July. So we're not gonna do that.
The kids don't go back till like the 2nd, right? But you guys go back the last week of July.
I think the kids go back the 1st this year because it's Wednesday. Anyway. So we will make the end of Stash Dash August 27th. I will put up in the next coming weeks, if you want to request a rule change, Jasmine of the Knitmore Girls.
It's an evolving thing, so we don't mind changing it.
No, we totally don't.
If it makes sense.
But we make people vote on it because it's community, and we are not dictators, really.
Sorry, I've still got the Bill O'Reilly Do It Live thing in my head, so...
Anyway, so we will talk more. We'll do our Stash Dash episode with all the rules around 2 weeks before the 25th of May.
Yep.
And there will be shenanigans and lots of different tiers and overall craziness. So
it's a lot of fun. It
is.
If you do like the Harry Potter knit and crochet house cup thing.
Oh, and you can double dip with anything,
or
triple dip.
We are big fans of cheating in whatever way you possibly can. But if you like to have sort of a constant group chat thing happening, Stash Dash is probably the closest thing you'll get to that
in our group.
There's plenty of groups that do that, and we strongly encourage chat, but we don't do a whole lot of big Knit Girls group sort of
chat
events.
Threads, except for this and the Halloween.
Craft
I
all
would
the things.
say are 2 big events that we do every year. It's fun, man, and we've been doing it 8 years. Although Stash Dash has only been done for 7 years.
Yeah, because we didn't do it the first year because we were brand new.
Yeah.
We were babies.
And crazy. I did it on my own. That's how Stash Dash came about. I was like, I'm going to knit 50 skeins of yarn this summer.
Hipster
and
Laura.
I did.
She did it before it was cool.
See, I told you there'd be a better title.
I don't have any FOs, but Laura's got a cool one.
I'm wearing one.
Because it's freezing in this room, apparently.
It is so cold. Leslie turned on her air conditioning.
I'm not even going to get into
It's
that.
only April.
Yeah, also, yesterday, it was a low in the 30s.
And people got snow, and, Knoxville got snow. My parents got
And today, it got into the 80s. And this has been our life for the past month.
Go home, mother. You're drunk. All the time. It goes from 30 to 80 all the time here, and I don't understand what's happening. Michael would explain it to me. This is a shawl. It is one of the curl shawls. It is the Cassius Curl by Hunter Hammerson, and it's from the Curls first book. I don't know what happened there.
Just got caught, probably.
Yeah. Anyway, it was knit out of 8 ounces of hand spun, 2 different colorways, so it was a mashup. I used abalone and a green from Unwound Yarn Company. And one thing about this pattern, any changes in your gauge, there, is, let me show y'all, is gonna show, because it's drops, it's double loop stitches, but
I think you might be being too hard on yourself there.
I'm okay with it. I think it might go to someone else just because I already have a curls.
I like it.
And while I love it, I think it needs to probably... Yeah, there's a lot of shawls at my house.
That is a fact.
As I wear this one. But, like, I like to wear it just like this and tucked in my jacket. My sister has a jacket that eats shawls. She had to repair 4 shawls this winter because she keeps zipping
them
up.
into it. Like, it's not like the shawls are committing, harikiri or whatever. But I probably said that wrong. I'm sorry.
But, yeah, she keeps zipping her shawls up. So, anyway, it's going someplace else.
It's pretty.
Thank you.
You did a good job.
It was like 440 yards of a DK weight. Trying to think what else. I knit it on size... What else did I use?
And the curls are adaptable, so they can work
8.
for any size yarn.
Yeah.
Or...
I use size 8 needles, so it's nice and big and goes well. This is a BFL, a blue face luster wool, so it's nice next to the skin. And that's about it. I didn't really block it. I just kind of laid it out.
Yeah.
So.
I think that, yeah, I mean, unless you're going for a specific measurement, it's kind of a lot of work to block it out to a...
Well,
to pin it out.
I did pin aspects of it out because it kept flipping over. So I used those Knitter Pride, like...
Oh, the little teeth.
This is how I put them in. Just like that. They're like, yeah, they look like a comb. So they're like this white strip right here, and then it's got all these prongs.
Oh, I've got some right here. I'll show you.
And Knitter's Pride makes them. I have 2 sets, and they're really, really handy for blocking. And really, blockers. Leslie should just bring hers over to my house because she only blocks in my house anyways.
Because there's clear space at her house. But yeah, they...
They live in a bucket at my house. They don't live in that fancy box anymore.
But yeah,
it's just easy. And mine are all bent. Because...
Well, they've been used.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, you've got your bigger ones and your smaller ones.
Yeah. They're super handy for blocking. If you're
I think they're like
blocking
20 or 25 bucks from most places.
Squares. Like, they were perfect for blocking the blanket. They were good for blocking this. If I was doing intricate lace, I wouldn't use them, probably. But they're good for top edges of things.
Yeah, they're
too.
good for like big flat things. I wouldn't use them for anything too delicate, but
yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. They're like sock weight and larger, I would say too, because I could see them piercing and.
Yeah, they're not the smoothest. They're not like glass head pins. They're just sort of heavy duty.
Yeah. So this is what I finished. Yay! Do you want to talk about your spinning?
I do. I have spinning. So recently I decided that I was going to be spinning at Laura's house instead of knitting. And I've gotten way more spinning done than I ever got knitting done at Laura's house.
Well, it's kind of like my wheels protect you from pearls.
This is part of it. Like I stop and pet pearl less because I have a wheel in front of me. But I spun a patchwork kit.
Which is a pound of fiber.
Yes, and I've done it all.
Oh, you finished it all too.
I did.
That's gorgeous. You should totally knit a sweater out of
I
that.
feel like this is different from the other two. Like, one of these things just doesn't belong. So
no.
This was the first one. And each one of these is a little over 5 ounces. Well, this one's heavier than the other two, but... And then...
Or you could do a log cabin too.
I don't know what I'm going to do yet. This one and this one. So altogether it's 915 yards out of a pound.
Giant curls.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like this green doesn't go with the other two, but
no, I think it blends into it. I think there's that green reappears right here. Right there.
I mean, I like them. I think they came out well.
And there's green in that one too.
They do alternate in thickness because the fibers in a patchwork kit are mixed up. You know, you've got some merino silk blends, and you've got some like Cordale, and then you've got some Shetland.
So a patchwork kit is bits and pieces that are left over that Adrienne kind of lumps together when she's done dyeing, and like she dyes massive amounts at once, so she just puts all the fiber she can fit in a bin and dyes it, and then she weighs it out by 4 ounces, and anything that's left over goes into patchwork kits.
Yep.
Which is a super smart way of doing things, but also like I like the fact that there's no waste.
Yeah. And it kind of forces you to be creative, which is cool. I'm not certain what I'm going to do with this yet, or if I'm going to keep it or give it away as a prize. I have not decided. But I'm happy with how it came out, and I think I might actually go through my stash and pick out some braids that are kind of share the same color family.
Oh, look
and try that out.
And
we'll
try
see.
that mashup spin.
Yeah, that like sweater spin where it's all mashed together.
Yeah, that would be great.
We'll see. But yeah, if I
you
always
should just bring your pocket wheel over to my house.
if I always spin at Laura's house, then I would get a lot done. So we'll see. Yeah, I'm happy with how much I got spun in that 3 weeks, month, whatever.
Really, I just want to play with your pocket wheel. So
Certainly, and that's totally fine with me. So I'll bring it over tomorrow.
Excellent. Because there's not enough wheels at my house.
No, we need an extra one.
We need more over there.
One of my husband's friends was over this past weekend, and my husband built me this custom table in our bedroom that holds 3 of my wheels. He bought, it's sort of like a thin, narrow sofa table, but it's built to the specifications I wanted. And
it's storage.
Yeah. But it keeps, wheels they have a big footprint,
Depending on the wheel, yeah.
But if you have enough of them, they take up a lot of space.
Yes, they do.
And I needed them out of my living room, and I have plenty of wall space in my bedroom. So anyway, we made this table thing that holds them all. And my husband's friend saw them, and he was like, "Why do you have so many wheels?" And I said, "Why do you have so many cars? Stop judging me."
Because he does have 3 cars.
Yeah. I was like, it's my thing. They each do something different. Go away.
Yeah. Why do you have 2 Jeeps, dude?
Yeah. But that's my spinning. You have some spinning.
I do. So one of my finished skeins is actually still at my house because it was wet, and so I left it there because I applied it actually today. So it was still pretty damp, even though I spun out the water. But I do have 2 things that I finished. So I finished February's Patreon prize, which is Hello Yarn in the Whisper colorway. I'm getting to this end of this row, and then I will show it to you. It is 350 yards of a 2-ply. It is a Polworth silk blend, which I am not a huge fan of spinning silk, but I think it came out really, really soft and pretty.
Yeah, that's lovely. That's great. That's definitely an Adrian colorway.
Yeah. It's really pretty. And it's got, so when I was splitting the fiber, I split it unevenly, and, then Jess, we weighed out, and just, so there's no color. It wasn't spun end of braid to end of braid like I usually do. It was just kind of jumbled.
It's an unintentional fractal.
It's not a fractal because...
It's an unintentional fractal.
It's not a fractal. My other one that's not here is a fractal. So the difference between this and a fractal is a fractal has long stretches of colors for one of the plies, which usually you do by just dividing the braid in half and spinning that one half straight down, so you get these long stretches of colors. And then the other half is spun where that second half has been split into thirds, so you get thin little bits of color. That's a fractal. This is not. This is just me spinning. And then the other thing that I have, which was actually spun back in February and then never applied. It was sitting waiting to be applied. This was spun, so the Polworth silk was spun on my Ladybug. This was spun, and it was spun worsted, which means the air was kind of squished out as I spun it. This was spun woolen. And this is a bat from Knit Spin Farm. It was one of her bat clubs. I think the mystery one, the Nor, wasn't it? Like Bat Nor.
So I don't know.
So you should bring some of those over. So this was spun long draw, and it's another 2-ply, and this one is 260 yards. Her bats are more around 3 ounces than 4 ounces. So that's a little bit of the difference, but also there's lots of air in it. And it's squishy. It makes me happy. So this is staying with me. The other one's the Patreon prize. I did finish the Southern Cross fiber. That's what's drying at home. I'll show that to you guys next week. And then on my wheel now, currently, is this lovely bit of nonsense.
It's a street in Philly.
It's not. It's a district in Pittsburgh.
No. Whatever.
It is, so this is what the fiber looks like. And it's the Hill District from Pittsburgh, because that's where Hipstrings, the person who does this, or blends this, I should say, is located. So, it is, I have it living in the Southern Cross bag. I have the tag in here. It was $15. I got this at SSK last year. And it is 75% merino wool and 25% Bombay silk. I feel like I just said I don't like spinning silk. But I'm doing it again. And I'm spinning this a little bit thicker. And it's going to be a 3-ply. So I've divided the braid into thirds. And the singles are spinning up super marled. And I think the finish yarn is going to be super duper marled. Because the more plies you add, the more you like blend out the colors.
I think it's going to look like a clown explosion once it's plied.
Like Rainbow Dash kind of is what I think it's going to be like. And this is also getting spun on the Ladybug, so we'll see. I'm going to work on this weekend. I'd like to get a good amount of spinning time, and I think I will. I'm in the midst of state testing right now, which means I walk around a room for 6 hours a day. So if I use my mini spinner and give my legs a break, I think I'll still be fine after I get this off the Ladybug. So, yep, that is it for me and spinning, and that's it for me just really in general. I'm only listening to one book, and that's Mark of Athena, which is a Rick Riordan. It's the third in the Heroes of Olympus series, so I'm just continuing on with that series because the third book in his new series, The Trials of Apollo, comes out at the beginning of May. So I'm trying to get this read before I move on to... And I'm actually at the point where I stalled last time. Mm-hmm. So I stalled in the series like an hour into Mark of Athena, and that's where I am now. So I just need to get over this hump. Annabeth's not my favorite character. I don't know why, but she's not, so I just need to get over it. Anyway, so that's what I'm listening to. What are you reading?
What am I reading right now? Oh, some trashy dragon shifter thing.
What trashy dragon shifter
I'll
thing?
have to I don't remember the name of it. I'll have to look it up.
Yes. Is it male or is it male?
Oh, it's male, yeah.
Okay.
I did read on the recommendation of Jessie from
Little Hip Kitty.
Little Hip Kitty, yeah. I read the Earthrise series. I read the 3 novels, and then there's a short story after that I haven't read.
It's like space opera, right?
Yeah, it's sort of a space opera, and it just got a little too like political machinations for me. And the story was really good. All the different aliens were really interesting, and they really had their own personalities.
You wanted more sex, didn't
quirks.
you?
It wasn't. It was just so. It was a slow burn, which I don't mind. A slow burn, you know. In the
Alana Andrews,
yeah,
the slow burn.
Kate Daniels series. It took till like book 5 before they finally got down to it, which I don't mind that at all, but I was a little annoyed at this one because they finally got around to getting together in book 3, and the book didn't really say crap about any of it. So I was a little annoyed at that. But also, it was more political than I tend to enjoy books that are more about the characters than about the situation.
So character-driven versus plot-driven.
Yeah. But I did really enjoy all of the really unique characteristics that she gave the different species of aliens. I thought that was really well done. I'm re-listening to Amanda Stutter, Windsong Farm on
yeah, she's in Australia.
Instagram.
Yeah.
That's how I initially came in contact with her, but we chat through text, and she mentioned that she had found this great book that she was listening to, and it's called The Name of the Wind, and I was like, oh yeah, I totally have that in my Audible library. I listened to it, I don't know, a year or 2 ago, and she mentioned, she was talking about how much she loved it, and I was like, man, I forgot all about that book, so now I'm re-listening to it. So the first book is like 20-something hours, and the second book is almost 50 hours, so I'm excited. Because I really liked that book. It's written by Patrick Rothfuss, and it's a series, and the third one he's been teasing about, but there's no release date on it yet. But he's mentioned something about it being kind of a prequel, so we'll see. Anyway, it's very kind of fantasy-ish. There's magic and the study of alchemy and the Edema Rue, which was like this traveling entertainment carnival sort of thing. So it's cool. I like it. That's what I've been listening to. I think Michael has downloaded 7 different medical and or geological books this week on Audible.
He's burning through your credits.
Yeah. But, alright, whatever. I do have a quilting work in progress. So, one of the guys who works for the company in our department, he's out of Baltimore, which beat Memphis to #1 on the most dangerous cities in the country. Memphis is #2. Baltimore is #1. We're outside of Memphis. We're like in the metro area.
Yeah.
So
we're across the state line.
Most violent crime. That was the specific thing.
Oh, interesting.
Anyhow, he is having his first baby, and so I put together. I showed you the quilt blocks last week. I just need to see this so I can see where we. So I sewed it together. It's like 34 by 34. Well, it will be when I'm done.
It can come my way a little bit more.
Just did a simple disappearing 9-patch, 4-patch, 9-patch, 9-patch. And then I did a flannel middle, and then the back is this minky.
Minky!
So it's this...
How are you enjoying quilting with the minky?
I can't even tell. So, I can't even tell it's minky, so it's perfectly fine. You can see...
My face is excited because I want a minky blanket.
Yeah, she wants a quilt with the minky blanket, minky backing. So you can see the quilting that I've done, sort of heart-shaped.
Do they sell it without the texture, or is it always textured?
They probably do sell it without the texture, but it's probably just called something different. The minky is because of the bumps. I'm doing this quilting on my Janome 6600 Memory Craft sewing machine that I bought from Roe years ago. And I stenciled on an all-over design with one of those friction pens.
That happened at my house.
She's laughing because the way that these stencils work is... Hang on, let me grab one and I'll show you. We're in my craft room, so...
We are.
So the way that these stencils work is you lay them out over whatever you're going to quilt or whatever. And then
you can't see it.
I know.
Okay.
And then you mark through where all the holes are, whether you do it with chalk or a pen or whatever. And you can buy these stencils pretty inexpensively, usually between $5 and $10. And they have a starting and a joining point. So like right here, you see is sort of open, and it's the only really open section here. All the others are just closed meanderings. And then you see here there's another open one, so that's where they join. So if you laid this down and you marked this section,
it should join to this
then,
section.
Yeah, you would just move the thing down here and it would join here. Well...
Leslie got a heart one for this quilt.
Uh-huh.
and we couldn't figure out.
And we had like one curved section on the bottom and another curved section on the top, and I couldn't figure out how they overlapped.
They didn't match.
Like the curves were wrong. They wouldn't overlap. And it was because they weren't supposed to overlap. Each curve was a part of the heart. It took me an hour to figure that out.
And we FaceTimed my mom, and we could not figure it out. Could not trace it on paper.
Finally, I was just sitting there staring at it, and I was like, son of a... But anyway.
We got it. And that was an episode of Wild Wild Country right there.
Yeah. So, I think I spent like a couple hours on it last night and got about a third of it quilted.
When's the baby due?
Not until July, so I have plenty of time.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, and he doesn't know I'm quilting it, so that if I end up failing, I'll just send him money.
Gift card to Target always does wonders. You could knit a little baby hat.
Yeah, I'm probably will knit a little something to send along with it, because baby stuff goes so fast.
It does.
That I don't mind, obligating myself to a hat or a pair of booties or something.
Are they having a boy or girl?
I don't know if they know the sex yet.
Okay.
If they do, they haven't shared it with all these random people across the country. I can't imagine why they wouldn't. But that's it for me for crafting this week.
We need to do a drawing for March self-striping socks because we have a bag that was right here before.
Oh, it's over here.
Okay.
I put it in a thing to get ready to ship.
Perfect. Look at that. So we have this cool bag.
All right, let me pull up.
And it was sent by Diane. She doesn't put tags in her.
Not a bag.
Yeah, so it's not a bags.
I was about to have
The
a question
not a
for
bag.
you.
And it's this cute box.
All right, so this is for March.
It is for March. And it should be already locked.
Yep.
And I know we had under 50.
34.
Perfect.
So let's go to random.org, and we're going to do between 2 and 34. And
January is 13.
13.
Lucky 13. There's a Friday the 13th.
I know, and I didn't even know it until it was over. This is from TP Mom.
Okay, so TP Mom, if you will send Leslie
an email.
Yeah, you don't call me Les at gmail.com.
Or you can message Laura if that confuses you. My messages on Rav are locked, so nobody can message me because I never answer them.
Yeah, so
So TP Mom, that is Treva from Richardson, Texas. Thank you for participating. And if you will message Laura or myself, we'll get this shipped off to you. We just need your address.
Perfect. And like I said earlier, the current prize is a pattern, a Ravelry downloadable pattern.
That's for April.
That's for April. So I can't wait to. There's been some great finished objects in there already, and I can't wait to see more. And then we have a Patreon that we need to do. We can do that next week.
Yeah, we'll do it next week. It's not
that way I can show you guys the skein too, because it's done.
Yeah, it's just that this the past couple of weeks, trying to get the website up was kind of
it took priority.
It's a challenge because a lot of it requires access to the back end of the website, and I can't do that while I'm on work VPN, and when I'm not working, not wanting to be on the computer. So anyway. I apologize that it's late in coming, but we will pull for the Patreon prize for our March donators. We'll pull that next week.
Yep.
And I think that's it, right? We talked about Wild
Country.
Yes, which is
our Netflix
sort of a documentary,
right
on Netflix that we're into. We'll also watch RuPaul's Drag Race every week.
Yeah.
The new season 10 so far, is better than All Stars 3, in my opinion.
I think it's better than season 9 or even season 8 was, really.
Season 9 wasn't great. Yeah, I agree with that.
No, I liked Shea Coulee and I liked Sasha.
Yeah.
I
don't know. Sometimes the dynamics between people
can
really elevate it or drag it down.
So season 9 was a lot of less drama, more love.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, but sometimes it's harder to get to know the people, I guess. The characters, the people behind the drag. What else? I think that's it. God, my craft room is a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
Shut up.
Mine's really bad right now, too.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's late because we're recording late because
Mostly it's stuff to do.
Yeah. So you guys have a lovely week, and we will talk to you again next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.